And I would like now to give the floor to Professor Sulligoi, that is preferring to stay seated, okay? Okay, so you can start. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Professor Traconia. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for inviting. It's a truly honor to be here. My speech is entitled, let's say, deals with building a local innovation system and our experience. First of all, I think this is a challenge. This is a challenge because in, let's say, during these times there's a lot of reforming process, there's a lot, you can be static, so this kind of problem, this kind of opportunity is not something that, let's say, belongs to curiosity or to something that is nice to, like a trend. It's becoming a truly necessity, a truly opportunity, a truly need. And first of all, it is the local system that are the stakeholders that ask us to, let's say, to join. And from the, all the contacts, the relations that we are having, that we have had during the years, the science systems, and so the universities, is one of the building blocks of this innovation system. This is certified. You can, and Andrea shown extraordinarily interesting results about this, but also about other communities in the world. The higher the density in research centers that perform well, that have extraordinary performance, and the more is the densities of companies, the more are the value that you can add, and so on. There are entire countries and states that have been, let's say, built and completely renewed and relaunched thanks to this kind of politics. Also, again, for what it concerns this kind of reforms, this kind of changings of the ideas in these times, universities today have three missions. Besides education and research, there is the so-called third mission, that is something that still perhaps is not completely seen as natural, because perhaps is the most recent one. We all agree that for making good education and for being able to perform in the third mission, let's say, to have an impact, we must move from good research, and we must move from possibly the most, let's say, the strongest groups, the strongest, our points of strength in research. We move from, as the University of Trieste, we believe we do have these assets. University of Trieste is normally well evaluated, and especially from international rankings, we are often ranked among the very top, let's say, middle-sized universities in Italy. And the score for what it concerns the world position is probably within a kind of Italian system position, so it belongs to a lot of factors, it belongs to our origin, it belongs to a lot of laws, but it is not, let's say, far, it is not alien from this third mission. One of the reasons, because let's say Italian universities are ranked in those positions, is that, for instance, they are too few international, is that we have a lot of assets, we have a lot of good research groups, we have extraordinary people in education, and we have few students in the sense that we are too few open, too few, let's say, aimed at opening our assets and use them to make education, to make research, and to have an impact on the socio-economic realities utilizing these assets. There are reasons that concerns the language, and there is movement around this. Trieste is one of the public universities in Italy that has the highest level in the highest percentage in the presence of international foreign students enrolled, and of course as a natural tradition of exchanging relationships among professors, among researchers. And as I was saying, this is not talking, let's say, about something else with regard to the third mission, because our aim is in the end to get more students and to get more funds. And the third mission is one of the access, is one of the resources that has to be, let's say, utilized to do this to reach these goals. A few words considering, again, the context in which we operate. These were some recent rankings considering the percentage of startup companies among, let's say, the overall companies in the regions of Italy and also in the cities. As you can see, the Friuli Venezia Giulia region and the area of Trieste are ranked, let's say, they score second, of course, in percentage. And these were not only, let's say, some just comments that came on the newspapers, but they were in a way assessed. This is, I think, the largest bank operating in Italy, in our region, that had some data that were completely in agreement with this. So there's a lot of attention, there's a lot of exchange, communication, and also, in the end, probably of availability. Some words considering the experience that we have had in the University of Trieste. The University of Trieste has made a strong investment on the industrial liaison office, who at the moment covers the, let's say, the functions, the roles of the functions. Basically, these four functions, developing and promoting and getting value from intellectual property, making it possible to create new enterprises, promotion of contacts, collaborative research, and of course fundraising and placement. This is also one of the functions that has been joined, because more and more when we deal with companies, they ask us not only to cooperate with them on a bilateral side for what it concerns research, collaborations, but at the same time with link with placement, and more and more they try to get talents from even before they graduate, to try to get in touch with them before they graduate, both with the offer of internships, but also and more with challenges, with prizes, with hackathons, and so on. The office was founded in 2008, and then it has grown at the moment to cover this function. It enrolled about 10 people, and this is a relevant number. I believe this puts this university in the very top 10 universities in Italy for people devoted to technology transfer activities. The activities that, let's say, the office cover are both directed to the university population and to the, let's say, to the stakeholder of the territory. You can see some of these. They move from trying to spreading culture. This is also Professor Picaluga said about this. It is something really of capital importance to spread this culture, because we are not only working on assets, we are not it's not just a matter of making a map, making a screening of our best research results, of our most promising research groups or ideas, but also a work of communicating very well and trying to build up an attitude, try to build up a community, as you are doing, Our university has been a member of the NetVal since many years, and so we really appreciate this kind of way that you have indicated. The office also cooperates for giving strategic advice, for managing also some projects that are not just referred to a single department, but sometimes where more than one department are needed, the office is involved. Many times, not only with the cooperations between countries, but also with the public bodies of our region. And for what it concerns the activity devoted to the stakeholders, there's of course the promotion of our patent portfolio, valorization of knowledge, promotion of a culture of intellectual properties, and so on. A few numbers. These are the spin-offs, the university spin-offs that has been launched in the last 10 years. Let's say there's an average of 2 spin-offs per year at the moment. And also you can see the sign with -1 means that during that year we have closed one of these companies. But anyway, the overall results are also in terms of life of this company is promising, and this confirms what we're saying before, both by the newspapers, by the media, and also by the bank analysts. A spin-off company has more probability, statistically, is more lasting than a normal company. A few numbers that regards our patents and our patent portfolio. You can also see, as Professor Picaluga was saying before, how, let's say, difficult and how far is to being able to getting money, to getting value from from selling or from licensing this, let's say, the patents. Okay, if you compare the number of patents that have been done and recorded with the one license, there are very, very few. Some of them, anyway, are promising, but this is within the game. The game is that you need large numbers if you want to get revenues tomorrow. You need very, very large numbers, probably a couple of orders of magnitudes more than this. And again, because of this, is really important the work that NetVal is doing of connecting all the portfolio, because probably the portfolio of patents of the Italian universities is less than the one of just London universities or something like that, probably. A couple of words on the network of people that we have been able to build. Okay, these are just the spin-off, okay, ordered by sectors, which in a way reflect some of our points of strength and some of the, let's say, specializations of the smart specializations of our region. We have developed a couple of years ago, I think, a partnership with these 4 entities, the University of Trieste area, that is a science park located here in Trieste, that also manages an incubator. I've seen the program tomorrow. You will have one of the managers of this incubator. Then BIC, which is another small incubator that have more experience in getting financial instruments, and as it was the former managing entity of the industrial zone of Trieste. So we tried to build a pipeline, putting together people working on these topics from the, let's say, production of the idea and the research results to its incubation, and then the possible getting the financial instruments and the possibility of getting in production. This was an attempt to building a network of a reasonable number of people working on these topics. And this kind of idea has then also developed, this is even more interesting, into a regional dimension. My colleagues from the Industrial Liaison Office, Cristiano Piani and his staff, and also the other colleagues from the universities of Venezia Giulia, Udine and Sissa, have been able to write a proposal to win a project funded by the Italian Ministry of Economic Development that have a multiple, let's say, set of objectives. One of these foresees the kind of federation of the technology transfer activities. And in this way, these three universities now can operate as a kind of, let's say, local points of the same network, while keeping their own specialization, if according to the. So we can put together. We have put together the people. We have built a strong asset, and we are starting, let's say, consolidating this kind of network. It has been really interesting, let's say, within this project we have followed some of the targets of these projects were to understand, to visit, to build international relations, and also to learn practice. So different missions have been realized in some of the most representative places for innovations and for the densities of startup. And in particular, I'd like to recall we have been able to not only visit but to attend a kind of intensive course in Oxford. And that was significant because there were the three universities together, and especially and also Sant'Anna from Pisa. We had some numbers from them, okay, besides what we tried to learn, but some numbers. We visited the ISIS Innovation, which is the society that the company that makes a technology transfer for Oxford universities. And the order of magnitudes are that they are like 90 people, half of which are PhDs in different sectors, that work trying to get in value from the research results of Oxford University and look at what are the stakeholders of these systems, the overall, the world. They have global stakeholders because half of the value they get from these results stay in UK, the rest of the half spread all over the world. So one of the points on which we have to reason and to which we have tried to focus our strategic lines for the next years is that once we are consolidating this network of people in our region, that is, in my opinion, it is a network of some tens of people that have been that have learned a lot and that are consolidating. They are really professional. They are really committed. So we have built an extraordinary important asset. We have the context of this region in which there is this kind of tradition and attitude in making startups. Now we have to utilize these assets. And this is valid for this network of technology transfer offices, and it is value for the single universities. Because otherwise it's like having, for instance, a good hospital for babies, but with too few babies that born. So this is not a sustainable condition. And seeing that the innovation and also the, let's say, building a capacity and consolidating the capacities of our companies pass through the innovation, there are no doubts on this. I think that we have been able to get this network. Now is the moment of let's say, getting more, quoting, clients. Normally, my colleagues in the Industrial Liaison Office here in Trieste are used to work with more or less 100, 200 of people, researchers, professors, that are the ones that have, let's say, that have more attitude or are more ready to or that they are closer to some societal challenges. The true challenge and I'm going to conclude on this, trying to leave these three messages. I will move from the second one. One of these challenges is trying to involve all the university population in these activities, in order that all the university population means researchers, professors, students at all the levels, and of course technical and administrative staffs. That means increasing the users of our office from 200 to 20,000. This is, we must try to get not only policies and practices, also tools in order to let this possible. So it is important to keep on with communication, especially internal communication, and it is important to have tools in order to put together, and I come, let's say, to the third point there, to put together a lot of initiatives that stakeholders ask us to participate in, like challenges, like innovation prizes, like competitions. And of course, coming to the first of those points, it is also of paramount importance to, especially for some of the sectors in which we have been already working a lot with stakeholders, to understand very well the mechanisms of the evaluation of the third mission that now will be is being set up and will be starting to impact also the funding on the universities. We have to be very careful on this. So I'd like to conclude to say we have the assets. University, of course, is an asset, is a hub for both research, education, and technology transfer. We have assets, we have points of strength, it's time to use it, it's time to inspire this kind of attitude. Thank you.